Welcome to Conversations. I'm Muqtadar Khan, your host, and today I'm going to talk to you about the peace talks. What is there to talk about right now? That is the most dominant issue in global geopolitics. So it appears that JD Vance is, after all, going to Pakistan to negotiate with Iran, even though the Iranians have so far said that they are not coming back. So there's this interesting article in the New York Times this morning which says Vance heads to New talks with Iran, at stake peace and his own standing. So, so the assumption is that in spite of the fact that the Iranians are saying that they are probably not coming for this dialogue, there seems to be some other signals. Obviously, this is potentially what Pakistan is telling the Americans that yes, whatever the Iranians are saying is possibly for their own domestic consumption. They want to look tough because Donald Trump has blockaded the Hormuz and also seized one of their ships, and they have not really retaliated. Iran has done nothing to retaliate against these two escalatory steps that the United States has taken, and so they probably are making tough noises in response to these actions by Donald Trump. But eventually they will come, and like I told you, it takes 17 hours for JD Vance to get to Pakistan. It will take less than about 3 hours for the Iranian delegation to get to Islamabad. So they can start 10 hours, 12 hours after JD Vance starts flying and still make it there on time. It is quite possible that there is frantic behind the scenes mediation going on by Pakistanis talking to Americans, talking to Iranians, and they probably are telling Donald Trump that, look, forget what they are saying publicly, they are telling privately, they are coming. And that's why you sometimes see Donald Trump making I think some of the contradictions in Donald Trump's statements are when he's reacting to what is being told to him in private, and then he's also reacting to what is happening publicly. So when the Iranians say something publicly, he's reacting to that, and then he's also reacting on Truth Social to what the Pakistanis are telling him about the Iranians and the negotiations. So sometimes he says, okay, we have agreement on nearly everything except one or two things. And then he says that, oh, they are not agreeing, I'm going to bomb them. So when he says these things, it does appear because he should not be tweeting at all. First of all, I think the less Donald Trump tweets, the less confusion there is going to be in trying to understand what the United States is doing. So he has put himself in a position that is very, very difficult. So anyway, like one of his tweets, which seems to be quoted the most, is, we are offering a very fair and reasonable deal, and I hope they take it, because if they don't, the United States is going to knock out every single power plant and every single bridge in Iran. The president wrote on social media on Sunday. Today is Tuesday. I will not be no more nice guy. Okay, no more nice guy. So when JD Vance left the first talks after 21 hours of negotiations, he said, we made our best offer, and the Iranians rejected it. So now the deal that Donald Trump is offering, is it the same deal, or has there been any modification? We have absolutely no idea. Has there been some additional concessions made by the United States, or they are expecting that the only difference between the first and the second talks, if the offer is the same, is the escalation by Donald Trump, and he thinks that by blockading the Strait of Hormuz, he has gained enough leverage to bridge that gap, which made the first ceasefire talks fail. So we will see what they are eventually. We probably will not get to know what the details of this offer is until it's accepted and announced. So if the second talks also fail, then we'll see what happens. But I do feel that this talk might be a very good excuse for Donald Trump to extend the ceasefire if the Iranians do not accept what the Iranians are calling our maximalist demands by the United States. I think the key difference right now is on not on the uranium that is already enriched, but the key difference is on whether Iran can continue to enrich uranium and have the institutions like universities, research think tanks, uranium enrichment plants, etc., laboratories. Can Iran retain those or not for scientific development, research purposes? So the United States right now a demand is nothing, nothing, absolutely nothing. Iran does not have a nuclear program, not a nuclear weapon. The Iranians are saying, look, we accept that, okay, we don't want a nuclear weapon, but we do want to have a nuclear program. So that is, I think, the fundamental difference is between Iran wanting to have a nuclear program without having a nuclear weapon, and the United States insisting that having a nuclear program is like having a nuclear weapon, so you should not have. I'm going to show you a little bit of ranting by our dear President Donald Trump. He says Operation Midnight Hammer was a complete and total obliteration of the nuclear dust sites in Iran. Therefore, digging it out will be a long and difficult process. See, this is where the contradiction is. If you have obliterated all of Iran's capacity and capabilities, then what's the point of going and attacking Iran? They don't have it. Leave it like that. They think that the Iranians will be able to dig it out. Therefore, digging it out will be a long and difficult process. And so he's basically fighting this perception in the United States where there is this contradiction that he claims that we already did this and then why another war? And he's struggling to explain that. And then he comes up with this: Iran has violated the ceasefire numerous times. No, Iran has not violated the ceasefire numerous times. Iran actually, after the ceasefire, opened the Strait of Hormuz. Iran shut the Strait of Hormuz only after the United States escalated. So there has been three escalations, one by Iran, which is shutting down of the Strait of Hormuz after opening it. But that was in response to Donald Trump blockading the Strait of Hormuz and Iranian ports. And then Donald Trump has escalated again by basically using helicopters and Marines to capture an Iranian boat, and also, I think, detain the crew of that ship, a ship that was going from Iran to China. Talking about China, I think there is a kind of a deadline. Donald Trump is expected to go to China in May on 14th or 15th. And I think he wants to settle this issue before he meets Xi Jinping, because he does not want the shadow of this war to basically color the way Xi Jinping reacts to various things. There are lots of very important things that needs to be settled between this so-called G2, the two most powerful countries in the world. So when he meets Xi Jinping, he wants to discuss key elements such as China's manufacturing capacity, China's exports, China's Belt and Road Initiative, China's control of critical minerals, China's threats to Japan, to Taiwan. So these are the issues that Donald Trump wants to discuss with China, and also in many ways try to see if he can open up China's markets more for US companies. So it's not about delinking, but from Donald Trump's point of view, a more balancing, a less belligerent, less aggressive China, more compliant to US needs and demands. So in order to get those concessions from China, he can't have this war lingering, which is blocking, especially the blockage of Hormuz, which will be something that will be a source of great irritation for China, because it does get about 13 to 14% of its energy needs from Iran. And the fact that the Hormuz is closed means that the price of oil remains high. And if the price of oil remains high, then it undermines China's. And I noticed that this morning the price of oil has gone up by 3%. It is now it's at this moment right now, I'm looking at it right now, it's 90, it's going up again. $98 is the Brent crude oil price, which is the global standard. So it was 94 yesterday. It's gone up by 4 points, which means that the market is not very optimistic about the dialogue happening. So we will see what happens. If the ceasefire happens and there's some kind of, or an extension, I think the price of oil will then drop below 90. And if JD Vance comes out and says, look, the ceasefire has failed, then I think it will go over 100 for sure. JD Vance is also under pressure. He's having a failure after failure. He went and campaigned for Viktor Orban in Hungary. I mean, who does this? A vice president of one country going and campaigning in another country to ensure that their ally wins an election. And well, Viktor Orban lost handsomely with a great margin. And this is a big loss, particularly to Israel. You must remember that America has no national interests. America's interests are Israeli interests. And Viktor Orban was the only person who was blocking many resolutions in the European Union, which were critical of Israel. And so now this new guy, Magyar, the new president of Hungary, has clearly said that if Netanyahu comes to Hungary, he will be arrested. And he is going to renew the process of joining ICC. It's very clear that the new guy is more interested in becoming a member of European community, an EU, a positive, good standing member, than being a lackey of Donald Trump or Israel. Something that Donald Trump will not understand, to have self respect. Donald Trump has undermined American sovereignty to such an extent, it is unbelievable. He keeps thinking that he has made America great. No, he has made America subordinate to Israel. There is no America first now. It's only Israel first foreign policy. This is all about Israel. And look at his tweets. Never allow the traitor Democrats, like low IQ people. And look, he's become so desperate in trying to justify. He issued a statement yesterday saying that I did not go to war because of pressures from Israel. I did it because of what happened on October 7th, etc. There are lots of horrible things happening. Look at the genocide in Sudan. That doesn't move him. Only the troubles of a country whose supporters give him hundreds of millions of dollars so that he can put his own country aside and use American power, American money, American treasury, American influence, and American diplomacy to advance a foreign country's interests. If this is not the definition of slavery, then what is? So Donald Trump has made America a slave of Israel, and he's trying and struggling the best. The Iranians, on the other hand, have been issuing many statements, and let me share with you some of the comments that the Iranians have made, which should be very troubling for the Israelis, for Donald Trump going into this meeting. So one of the comments that the Iranian speaker made was that they will not be coerced by Donald Trump, and then they also have made comments which suggest that they are not interested really. So let me play back some of those comments for you. So the Speaker of the House, Parliament Speaker Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf, who was the negotiator, the main negotiator in the first peace talks with J.D. Vance, said Iran is ready to show new cards on the battlefield if clashes with US resume after the ceasefire ends. So that is it is actually threatening that we have new tricks up our sleeve. And what are they? Are they new weapons? Especially there was a lot of talk about shoulder-fired missiles called Manpad from China, which brought down an F-15, if you remember, with two pilots. So is it that, or there's some new kinds of missiles? Like what is it, or is it just bravado? They have also opened the airports, Imam Khomeini and Mehrabad airports after 2 weeks. So there are some bridges that they have rebuilt. So they're trying to show that they are not fully overawed by Donald Trump's threats. And so there is a lot more resilience in the Iranian society. And they are demanding that the United States release all the billions of dollars of Iran that the US has been frozen for decades. They are asking for an end to sanctions relief. So they are negotiating while they keep saying they are not negotiating, because in their statements saying we will not negotiate, they also then put forth their demands. So the Iranian demands are very clear. They associate the enrichment process of the uranium as a sovereignty issue, and so they have made it a big deal. I think that's something that they are using it as a leverage to force Donald Trump to make a lot more concessions, which will be to end all sanctions, end the new UN resolutions against Iran, and let Iran have some control on the Strait of Hormuz. And in return for that, I think they said, okay, we will cap our uranium enrichment program for 5 years or 10 years. I think that's what ultimately will come out. And see, the point is, I don't know whether they understand this, that all they need to give Donald Trump is, hey, first of all, you must understand that most of Donald Trump's supporters are very, very stupid. Okay. So all they need is to give Donald Trump something with which he can tell these stupid supporters of his that, look, I'm better than Obama. The deal I got is better than Obama. This is the best deal we ever got in the human history. Even Adam didn't get this deal. Even Jesus did not get this deal from God. I got the best deal possible ever in human history. Look, that's all he needs. He needs somehow to say, and the way the Iranians can do that is by saying, okay, we are going to stop our nuclear enrichment program, which is something that JCPOA did not have. And in exchange for that, they should ask for the moon. Anyway, so that is what I wanted to share with you to see what is happening. JD Vance is already on his way, and I don't think the Iranians are going to let him hang there alone. It would be amazing. It would be very funny also if the Iranians did not actually show up for negotiations in Islamabad. It'll be embarrassing to Asim Munir and Shehbaz Sharif and to JD Vance and to Donald Trump, and of course, it could result in massive bombing of Iran by both US and Israel. So that is what is at stake at the moment. It is quite possible that at the last moment, Donald Trump might say, okay, we are going to lift the blockade on Hormuz. And the Iranians say, oh, well, we are already here. We're actually been here for the last 5 hours. Now let's talk. So we'll see what happens going forward. And for those of you who have been watching, conversations, and those who are members of conversations, I have an announcement on Sunday at April 25th, 10:30 a.m. US time, New York time, 8 p.m. India time, and 7:30 p.m. Pakistan time. We will be having a members only conference via Zoom. And on every YouTube channel, there is something called posts. It used to be community posts. Now they just say posts. So if you go to the community channels and if you go to posts, you will see, you click there and there will be a message that I will post tomorrow or probably on Thursday or Friday, which will give you, what should I say? Let me share it with you so you can see what I'm saying. So if you look at the YouTube channel, you go to the YouTube channel, you can see video, home, video, shorts, live, playlist, posts. So if you go to posts, you click the post, you will see that I have this Zoom conference. So I will be posting one more here, which says link to the Zoom meeting. Right now, I'm just announcing the link that is here in this post is for you to become a member if you would like to become a member before the meeting and join us for the meeting. So that is the main issue. So that is the main announcement that I wanted to make. That go to posts and you can then see what is happening, and we will have a good dialogue. I will be talking about my trip to Italy, my dialogue with the Vatican, and the lectures I gave, the conference, what I heard from the Europeans about this war, about Donald Trump, about the election in Hungary. Things are changing in Europe. They're still very paranoid about Russia. So we will talk about all of that in that meeting on Sunday. So for now, thank you very much for watching conversations. Like this video, press the bell icon, and share this video with your socio-political network. Until next time, I'm your host, Muqtada Khan. Take care.